Yo, I got first place at my locals playing Memento. I kind of cut out the middleman here and I'm just showing the list in full. I even put some markings on the card to show like what was good throughout the locals and what was fine but maybe cuttable, which is what the yellow is. And then the red doesn't mean that it was bad. It just means that I either didn't use it or I didn't see it. So never saw cross out, never summoned the chaos guy or anima or anything like that. So I guess I'll just talk about the deck. 3 Darkblade, 3 Witch. You can fuck with the ratios of these. I think it's fine to play fucking 2 and 2. I think it's fine to play 3 and 2, whatever the fuck you want to do. I was about to play 2 Witch, but a lot of that was just part of like I have 2 of the same rarity and 1 ulti of it, so I was just like, ew, I don't want to put this in my deck. But I just wanted to open playable as much as possible, even if it meant having some hands be like 4 normal summons, and that did happen once or twice. But I think it's fine. I played 42. There's reasons to play over 40. There's reasons that you want to open Bone Party Infusion, so you want to play 40. I don't fucking know if it matters that much, really. The deck's kind of just good. There are some cards that like maybe you could cut, like Horned Dragon was just like, he's usually just a link material. He used to be integral to my end board when it was just like, I'm going to go combine creation, Horned Dragon, set Bone Party, pass with like a hand trap. That was what I was doing the last time I played this deck, which is when Twin Dragon and Ghattic came out. Yeah, I sold the deck when Witch and Bone Party each became like $30 cards, because I didn't read the new support. I knew it was good, I didn't know that it was a triple foolish, from Decker Extra, pop 20 cards, search the field spell. I didn't know it was that good. So yeah, I decided to sell the deck at the time, and just use that money to play other stuff. Kind of regretted it because my friend also had the deck and he had the new support and he won like fucking 80% of the locals he attended playing this deck, and I had to sit there and watch. But with Rarity Collection Stampede, we got Witch and Bone Party back, boys. We're back in business and the deck is OP. Deck's nutty. Akihiron, low-key, most broken card they got. I had my Combined Creation SP'd, I had it called by'd. No matter, he's back. I also, the direct attacking thing, it means that, like, your opponent just gets fucked, dude. Like, I queued into Tenpai, and, you know, Tenpai, they have their little wacky shenanigans where it's like, I have to out the Genroku before battle, because his guys can't be killed during the battle phase. So I have to out Genroku, who can tag out quick effect into another guy. And some decks can like really struggle to deal with that. Akihiron completely ignores it. He just says that your big fuckers can attack directly. And this guy's 5,000 and this guy is 3,000. So yeah, you just kill them. I even knew that the Tenpai player had a judgment set, and it was kind of nasty that he had no point in his turn where he could activate judgment without dying anyway. Because I had Fusion with a bunch of shit engrave with Combined Creation engrave like already set up. So if he judgments the activation of the Fusion, he just dies to Combined Creation attacking directly through his Tenpai field. And then if he doesn't judgment this, I summon a card that pops his judgment, and then he dies directly anyway. So nothing he could do. Your opponent kind of just doesn't, what they do doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, Akihiron is nutty. He's crazy. I played 3 Horse, which I think is pretty natural. I played 2 Sleepy. I don't know if you need 2 of this. I haven't played the deck without 2 of him, so I just played it for the second time ever. The last video was the last time I played this deck, so... Sleepy is if a card's been popped, he can summon it and then fuse into a Memento quick effect. He is pretty fucking good. He kind of makes it so you have counterplay to like board breakers and shit. So like if you got super polyed, but you still had like a Memento in hand with Fusion and Bone Party, you can still like make Creation King and get some pops on the board and shit. So the deck has a ton of counterplay to breakers and hand traps, and like it's just super fucking resilient, I guess is the word. And then Sleepy, if he's destroyed, he can send a Memento card from your deck to the grave. So he can be like one extra thing to set up for Combined Creation. He can get your Fusion engrave. He can send Ghattic, who can just add the Sleepy back. So like Bone Party pop Sleepy just equals Creation King right there on its own, plus like Giga combo. I played 2 Mace. I think this was probably the most correct thing I did. This felt very nice to have and like natural. There was one time I sided Mace out and then I opened it and it like fucking ruined my combos. Especially with Herald of Mirage Lights, I feel like 2 Mace is just kind of, it feels correct. I played 2 Goblin. Again, I think you probably play 2 of this. If you go Witch, add Horse, and you get Drolled, and you opened Goblin, you kind of get fucked, right? Because you can't go like Witch Reborn the Goblin anymore to like continue playing. So it's good to have one in deck, and that's kind of an issue with this deck. This deck has Garnets, and Ghattic is the #1 card you do not want to open ever in this deck because it turns off like 800 fucking combos the deck has. A lot of the cards in your deck funnel into like, I'm gonna triple Foolish, but the triple Foolish doesn't do anything if you don't have Ghattic as a card that you can send. Because, yeah, none of your cards like actually have effects in the grave other than fucking Ghattic and Akihiron. That could be a reason to play 2 Ghattic, but he's not a starter on his own, so I'm not gonna do it. It's just an unfortunate thing that the deck has, where if you open Ghattic plus Goblin as like your only starters, you kind of get fucking screwed. For some of the non-engine, I played 3 Ash. This is for the Charmies, and also it's just a generically good card. I think it was fine. I played Droll. Fucking nutty card, insane. I think this is probably a staple 3 of in like every single deck after that ban list, because there's going to be a lot more Mitsurugi and Fiendsmith all over the place, and with like the Malice and Ryzeal cards going to 2, they're going to be on the 7th Tachyon shit and Signet Mining, and they might be on Math Met cards. So Droll is fucking insane this format. I would play it main deck and like actually everything. It seems fucking really good, and it was. I played against a like 60 card Azamina, Snake Eye, Fiendsmith, Infernoid deck. I opened Droll all 3 games. There was a game 3, but that's because I opened like 4 normal summons game 2 going second into Fiendsmith combo. And then I played 1 Veiler and 1 Crossout. The Veiler is literally just here for Crossout, and Crossout is here for Droll, honestly. I guess I'll talk about these 2 imperms down here. The reason it was 2 instead of 3 is because, you only want to see it sometimes. I know it's kind of gross. Maybe it should have been 3. Maybe it should have been 1. I don't know. I feel like I'm way more likely to get hit by Imperm than I am Veiler. Not everybody plays Veiler. Everybody plays Imperm. So I wanted to like guaranteed have the Imperm in deck for Crossout, but also Imperm is a really good card. But it's not a monster, and I was concerned with the Goblin Biker quick play, is why I played, I tried to play, like, as few spells and traps as I could. I didn't really even want to play the Called By, but Droll seemed kind of brutal, like, frequently. That's kind of why I was siding the Talons, too, is that I didn't want to just have too many spells and traps with the Goblin Biker quick play, but I'm only playing 2 of this anyway, so I don't know if I needed to be so concerned with it. And that's also why I'm not playing 1 for 1, is that, I mean, look at how many monsters are in my deck. It probably was not a big deal, but I don't know. I'm a little schizophrenic when it comes to, like, you have to have a monster, and then I open 5 spells. But yeah, anyway. The Goblin Biker quick play is, it's fine. I would probably continue playing it. I kind of want to mess around with it some more and see, like, how often is it good versus bad. I didn't really pay much attention this locals to see if it was, like, game-winningly good, or if it was a different card, would it maybe have been better. Obviously, there's the dream scenario where you go, like, normal Witch, they try to impermanent, you just chain this, and then you get to the horse, plus the Goblin from deck, and that's insane, like, you kind of just win. But I was kind of afraid of the scenario where I like normal Darkblade or some shit, and they imperm that, and I chain this, tributing the Darkblade, and then they just chain Ash, which is a pretty likely assortment of hand traps for my opponent to have, and it's not unreasonable that would be like the start that I have, is anything but Witch plus the Goblin Biker quick play, and it feels a little sus, because then you just get it, you're trading 2 for 2, and then you have nothing. Like, it's just, I don't know. Super Poly was good. I think it had to be Super Poly as well. It couldn't be a card like Droplet. It had to be removal. I did Super Poly a Detonator, which is a huge card to just be able to remove off the field and you can't respond. Super Poly is also good if you're playing into the mirror, and you have a lot of Memento players at your locals, maybe play a Twin Dragon. Probably will fuck them. Fusion is the best card in the deck. Bone Party is the other best card in the deck. They're both really, really fucking good, and the cards that you open and then you win usually. It does actually feel like if you open Fusion, you just kind of like automatically win, assuming you have the stuff to summon shit. If you're wondering how to beat this deck, I had like 3 out of 4 of my opponents were like, I hate this deck, I have no idea what I'm supposed to hit. If you have Dominus Impulse, you 1000% Impulse the Fusion. The Fusion can also be hit by like Ghost Spell, and this is you can only use each effect, so they can't like use another one after that. So hitting the Fusion is really, really good. Everybody tells you to nuke the Horse, which is like, I guess fine, because if you go Witch, add Horse, Horse effect, and that gets ashed, they can't really go anywhere from there. Because they haven't popped a card yet, so they can't use Sleepy or anything. They kind of just don't have anything. So Horse is a good hit that kind of everybody knows about. Just hitting the starters, like if I normal any of these, like a Goblin Mace or Sleepy, I probably don't have anything crazy. But yeah, the tricky thing with Memento is if they have Fusion or Bone Party. Bone Party especially is just like, wow, nothing I did actually mattered. But if you have like Ash Imperm, you might be chilling. You just like Imperm the first thing, Ash the second thing. Just 1 copy of the field spell now. It's mega searchable with Creation King, and then you can add it back if it gets removed with Akihiron or Ghattic. For the extra deck, I played the 1 Anima because it used to be really good in this deck. I kind of summoned it all the time. I summoned it 0 times at this locals because there was never any need. I played Mirage Lights. It was summoned once or twice, and it was overkill every time. It was just like, it didn't really matter. It didn't add anything. Lizardos was summoned 1 time where I opened fucking like insane against someone that was on board breakers over hand traps. So I was just like popping the fuck off, and I was like, I guess I'll draw a fucking bonus card. And the draw was Called by the Grave. And I played against Unchained with a bunch of Kaijus and Super Poly, and he almost killed me, and I think that the draw off Lizardos actually ended it. The fucking Called by the Grave saved my life. So I don't know if that's a reason to justify playing the card, but Lizardos was usually here because Combined Creation can attack all things your opponent controls if he's the only monster on the board, which is why I was playing like Donner in the past, because Donner is a card that removes itself. You could also play like Abao, which can remove itself, but it summons something else in return, so I don't know, it's kind of weird. You could summon like Mace, destroy Mace, and then you would only have the Combined Creation maybe, and that's a way to get a ton of link materials just off your board and it'll come back later. Abao seemed like mega overkill though. If you got that far, you won anyway, for sure. The SP, you kind of end on it every game. Typhon, I would always play here. I have a friend that insists that the card is like unplayable dog shit that just exists to get summoned when you have nothing left, and then you're just like wasting time and you die 1 second later, which I would say, I agree that's how the card is used 99.999% of the time, but at this locals and the locals before that, it was a game-determining include in the extra deck. I played against Unchained at this locals, playing Memento, and the dude played kind of slow. The game 1 was really long, so it was a time situation, and I had like Super Poly Feather Dusted him, and I used all the engine I could to get as far as I could. He fucking used the Unchained Dog and like linked my shit off into SP, banished a thing, banished a second thing. So I played through as much as I could with my engine and my breakers. So all I had left was he had a monster and I had a monster, and I just made Typhon, bounced it, and hit him for damage, and that was enough to win the match. So that is one scenario where Typhon is good, and nothing else could have done what he does. And then the locals before that, I was playing Fire King with Typhon. I'm just ranting about Typhon now. I had 2 monsters on my board, and my opponent had 2 monsters, but they were like more established monsters that were having an impact on the game. And my opponent had Nib, and he didn't want to Nib for no reason and out his board when my board looked like nothing. I had like a fire monster and a fire monster with no effect, while he had 2 link monsters that like did stuff. So I just made Typhon and I out his field anyway, and he can't Nib me anymore because of Typhon's effect. And then suddenly he's playing against Fire King with like Garunik's Princess engraved, and he lost his field and he couldn't nib me to stop this from happening. That's another case where Typhon won me a game. I've also just had like my I've also gotten extra turns out of Typhon where it's like I queued into Odeon and he wanted to use the Searcher, that's like the level 10 guy who's 3000 attack, and he couldn't use it, so he had to like out Typhon by going battle phase first before he could actually play his deck. It's just like a good card, man. I don't know what to say. He's good. The ratios on the fusions, I know this is probably a little unusual. I did this because of a Kashtira Unicorn. I figured after the ban list with 0 hits to Fiendsmith, like, I don't know. I want to be able to like Ash a Kashtira player without losing the game automatically, and that's why 2 Twin Dragon was here. But 3 Creation King felt like it was actually pretty good. I felt like I was burning through these pretty fast. You could theoretically like recycle them, but you're never going to want to do that because Akihiron has better things to grab, like you're going to want to grab Fusion back from Banish probably. But yeah, I was fine with these ratios. Again, I wasn't really feeling like I was missing anything in the extra deck other than like random fucking super poly targets. Guardian Chimera was fine. I summoned it one time. I don't know if it like mattered that much, maybe a bit. And then Dragos Tapelia, I think I would just continue to play it because like it could maybe someday be good. Like if you go fusion, recycle some of your shit, and then make this guy, and he's like annoying for some decks to deal with. He's maybe a bit better than Guardian Chimera. He's also just he's an interruption you can make outside of Guardian Chimera, who's kind of hard to summon sometimes depending on like what your hand is. And like Creation King is kind of just part of your end board anyway. Yeah, that was the extra. I think it was fine. I don't know if I would ever change anything here. I didn't do any of the really wacky shenanigans because all of it feels like overkill. The Baphomet thing to me is insane. I can't believe you would ever feel the need to do all that shit. Like maybe against Tier Element specifically, like some deck that never stops popping off. That would be a case where like your end board might not be good enough, but usually your end board is pretty good. The side deck, I played Lancia for Malice and Crystron. I played Cycle Reader for Blue Eyes and Fiendsmith. The talents, it was just there. I didn't really want to main it again I wanted to have more monsters. The deck sometimes passes to 1 imperm, and it would feel really bad to like be looking at the talents in your hand in that situation. So I guess it's just matchup dependent where I would want talents, because you could totally main it. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling the need to main it. I played Storm and Duster. I don't really know why I'm putting these in. They just feel good, you know? I played Judgment, 4 cards like evenly, Lightning Storm and Duster. They kind of can do a lot to your deck. I think I saw Judgment 1 time, and it was never activated, like it had no effect on the game. In the future, I would probably replace Judgment with like Fuwalos, and I'll tank the evenlies and hope that my remaining board is enough to clear. And then I sided Cranium Burst and Fracture Dance. I think I would always side Fracture Dance, or maybe even main deck it in the future. Cranium Burst is a little bit more awkward, where it's like you have to resolve your full combo anyway for it to actually have an effect, so it kind of feels bad. The payoff is pretty good though, with like getting Appaloosa essentially on your end board. The traps also lose out to the same breakers like Feather Duster and Storm and Evenly, so I don't know if they're really like that great to side in going first, because you could just get blown out by the same blowouts they were going to play anyway, and that's a case where like having the Judgment sided in instead might be better, where you're just protecting your Bone Party and your Fusion. I don't know, bruh. It's fine. That's the deck. Thanks for watching.